Everybody is asking me, why do another documentary about fracking? We already know everything there is to know about it, and it's a bad thing, and that we need to stop it. I'm always wondering about things. In fact, that's all I really do is think about stuff. One of the things I've been thinking about is the oil and gas industry and all the negative things I keep hearing about the technology of fracking and its negative impact on the environment. Having worked in the oil patch the last 5 years on both the drilling and the production side, I see and hear things that I don't always agree with. So I would like to set out on this journey to understand who is really behind this anti-fracking movement.
What?
As an example, there's the fight over the Marcellus Shale region, a treasure trove of natural gas reserves that stretches across parts of New York, Pennsylvania, Ohio, and West Virginia. According to Tom Shepstone, the campaign director for the Northeast Marcellus Initiative, a group that supports fracking in this area, there are about 10 environmental pressure groups on the ground spending money and resources to block fracking. Pennsylvania, where it is permitted, has created thousands of new jobs, generated billions of dollars in revenues, and all with the strongest environmental policies in the country. This list includes Earth Justice, Earthworks, the Delaware Riverkeeper, Otsego 2000, the Community Environmental Defense Council, Catskill Citizens for Safe Energy, the Catskill Mountain Keeper, the Environmental Advocates of New York, the Citizens Campaign for the Environment, and its sister organization, Citizens Campaign Fund for the Environment. The CCE alone spent $3 million on efforts in this region last year. None were registered as lobbyists.
I don't understand.
Most of the domestic anti-fracking efforts are ultimately funded by one left-wing philanthropic group in particular, the Park Foundation. The Park Foundation was originally funded by Roy Park. Park was identified as the 40th wealthiest person in America by Forbes in 1993. His company, Park Communications, had control of 21 radio stations, 7 television stations, and 144 publications when it was at its peak. Roy Park left it 51% of his company to the Park Foundation when he died. Why is the Park Foundation against fracking? Are there ties to foreign oil?
I don't understand.
Celebrities are now upset about fracking. The injection of chemicals into the ground to crack rocks to release oil and gas. With everyone saying they want alternatives to foreign oil, you'd think that celebrities would be happy with fracking. One of the more outlandish fears is that fracking will cause earthquakes. The media are saying that fracking creates a skyrocketing number of earthquakes. Yes, cracking rocks does cause vibrations, but then so does construction and other things.
Horizontal hydraulic fracking is a method that they use to extract gas from deep down in the bedrock where it's trapped in small pockets. And they do this by forcing water at very, 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 very high pressure deep into the bedrock where this gas is, and forcing it at such great pressure that it actually is cracking the bedrock. It's creating little mini earthquakes.
Even after the original fracking documentary, Gasland, was debunked 2 years ago, people still run around citing what they learned from the film as an argument against fracking. Hollywood gave an Oscar to Gasland, a documentary that suggests fracking will shove gas into some people's drinking water, so the water will burn. It's true that some water contains so much natural gas that you can light it. Artists against fracking, including Yoko Ono, have come out publicly against fracking, citing that drinking water was burning.
Against fracking was in Albany today. She says the drilling impacts not only the environment, but our drinking water.
We are allowing this fracking thing to go on when we witnessed that the water from the faucet becomes fire. I mean, and are we happy about that? Are we do we think that's normal or something?
What did you say?
Stopping fracking is the latest cause for celebrities. They succeeded in getting scientifically ignorant politicians to ban fracking in New York, Maryland, and Vermont. The real story on fracking, say scientists, is that the risks are small and the rewards immense. Fracking lowered the price of natural gas so much that Americans heat our homes for less. Still, the process sounds dangerous. It requires chemicals and explosions. So fracking is now scapegoated for the usual litany of things that peasants feared when threatened with curses centuries ago. Livestock dying, bad crop yields, children born with deformities.
The movie takes on kind of a controversial subject. Do you think it has a particular message, or it kind of looks at it from a lot of different angles?
No, we wanted to just show what the human side of it, like what happens to these communities when these type of decisions, have to get made, and that was a good issue because natural gas was a good issue because it's so polarizing and people feel so strongly about it, and the stakes are so incredibly high that it was a perfect place to set a movie about American identity and where we are and where we find ourselves.
Matt Damon said he didn't make a biased movie and claimed to have just wanted to start a conversation on the subject. This movie was financed in part by Image Nation, a film company completely owned and operated by the government of the UAE. The parent company name is Abu Dhabi Media. It's no secret that the Middle East oil producers, like the UAE, see fracking as a direct threat to their endless petrodollars that have been created because oil is the world's cheap energy source. The Middle East has an endless stream of oil, but natural gas is a different story. The U.S. shale gas boom, drastically cutting the cost of gas, is shaking the foundations of the Saudi Arabian economic model, and more is coming. The highly profitable $100 billion Gulf petrochemical industry is taking a hit as its biggest customer, the United States, is importing less and relying instead on domestic production. It should be noted that this anti-fracking movement comes just as Vladimir Putin attempts to quietly create a pseudo-OPEC in natural gas. A natural gas discovery in 2010 in Israel immediately made that nation a player in the world market. Since, emissaries from Russia have made a number of low-key trips to Israel, pitching the idea of a conglomerate of natural gas-producing nations. So even as left-wing environmentalists attempt to limit our own production domestically of natural gas, our enemies are courting our allies globally to form natural gas partnerships. The USA has enough oil and gas reserves for 1,000 years. Once developed, we would not have to rely on foreign oil or gas. So who is really behind this anti-fracking movement? Is it foreign oil? They have the money, our money, to change celebrities' opinions. They have the money for lobbyists to buy and sell our Washington politicians. Is foreign oil buying our media as well? These are the questions we will try to resolve. We will talk to industry regulators, anti-fracking groups and celebrities, oil and gas executives. We want to find out what is really going on out there and who is controlling the strings. Will you help?